down 1,000 times. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'm standing right here. Demons all around, but I ain't got no fear.
Welcome to the show, guys. Happy Sunday. And as you can see behind me here, I'm in the front yard today, and we've got like tornado-looking weather here in the Northeast. It's cloudy, as you can see here. I want to talk today a little bit about some sleepers and some forgotten sleepers. So players that had some fantasy relevance before, and people have forgot about them. They're just not talking about them, or they're great value in drafts this year. So we are talking a little bit about forgotten sleepers here in this short video on this Sunday. Now, we are approaching 4th of July. I've got a special on the 60-round draft solution. The code you want to use to save, and this is the top discount you're going to get all year, is USA. That's only good for a few more days here, guys. Secure the solution, secure the championship. Sleepers, breakouts, optimal players drafted each round. Get the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it here below. All right, guys? It will help you guys crush your leagues. Now, you're going to get some sound here in the background here. It is a residential street. It's raining. And again, I just want to get out of that studio setting a little bit, have some fun here, get some humid, fresh air here out in the front yard. And again, I'm super excited about the season. It is around the corner. If you are new to the channel, make sure you guys do click that subscribe button. Very important that you guys do smash that subscribe button for this channel and get the 60-round draft solution. I also opened up a group called the Fantasy Frontlines, a Patreon group. You're going to get waiver wire, starts and sits. Amazing community, guys. Join the front lines right now. I've also linked that below, the Patreon group. You definitely want to join the front lines, okay? But this episode particularly, just want to have a short, quick episode here with you guys on some sleepers, okay? Some sleepers that, again, may have been forgotten, all right? So the first guy I'm going to talk about right here, I got 3 or 4, maybe some bonus ones here for you. But the first one I want to talk about here is Javonte Williams, okay? Again, if you're new to the channel, smash thumbs up. Really helps get this message out. So the first one is Javonte Williams. Listen, Javonte Williams, people forgot about him. He's coming off a major injury. In his rookie year, he had 203 attempts, which he split directly with Melvin Gordon. Guess what, guys? Melvin Gordon is actually gone now. He's no longer there. Now, Javonte Williams can and should be the RB1, but understand, guys, they always like to run by committee. Every team seems to be running by committee, especially if a running back is coming off injury. You have the same concerns there in New York with Breece Hall. They drafted a rookie running back with Izzy. They were flirting with bringing in Dalvin Cook. At the time I was recording, Dalvin Cook's still a free agent. I think he had a contract potential there with Miami. But understand, guys, Javonte Williams is and should be an RB1. It's not a sexy pick. It's not exciting. But he is an RB1 coming off rounds 6 to 7. That's not bad, guys. Round 6 to 7 for a guy who could be an RB1. 82nd overall is where he's sitting right now. So, again, he's forgotten. He's forgotten. People just draft based on recency bias, and you can get this guy as your RB4 on your team with some upside, okay? Now, is he exciting? Am I all over him this year? No, but he's forgotten, so I'm talking about him, okay? Just keep him on your radar if you're desperate for a running back in rounds 6 to round 7. That's where he's typically coming off, okay? Another forgotten wide receiver here who's a wide receiver 1 on his team, and this is what I'm telling you guys. Go robust RB, and you're going to get a ton of value at wide receiver later. The guy I'm talking about, and I've talked about in other videos, is Deontay Johnson, okay? Deontay Johnson has a ton of upside. He was a top receiver last year. We've got a settled-in Kenny Pickett. You got a guy who's been the wide receiver 1 on his team. Now, some people saying George Pickens. Listen, I'm not sold on Pickens as much. Last year was not the top target getter there. Deontay was still the number 1. Yes, he's had some drop issues. Yes, he had 0 touchdowns last year. But that means no way but up. And that's why people may have forgotten about him. He is now currently sitting, 78th overall, coming off rounds 5 to 7, 29th amongst wide receivers. That is crazy value for a wide receiver 1. And I see cars are still driving by here in the background here. Again, guys, it is like, look at this. Looks like there's going to be a tornado. Look at that sky. It's a mean sky. But again, wanted to get out of that studio setting here for you guys on this Sunday. Raining on Sunday. But yeah, Deontay Johnson, again, great value. He is forgotten. Maybe you want to consider target him as a wide receiver 1 with some major upside, okay? Another wide receiver that's been forgotten here, a forgotten fantasy player, sitting 66 overall. This is crazy. This guy was a top 5 wide receiver last year, or not last year, a couple years ago anyway. Yes, there's suspect situation at the quarterback position, We understand that the offense is going to be suspect. There's no more Tom Brady. But the guy I'm talking about is a wide receiver one on his team. They've obviously got Godwin there. But the guy I'm talking about is Mike Evans, sitting 66 overall, coming off around 5 to 6 as well. Is he going to be your wide receiver one? Not necessarily, and you don't have to make him your wide receiver one. But he is great value, and he's a forgotten sleeper. People are forgetting about this guy, okay? And honestly, so we're talking like Javonte Williams. We're talking about Deontay Johnson. We're talking Mike Williams. Great value, and they are the number one player on their team. They'll always aim high on the depth chart. So as you're filling in those mid-rounds, we're talking fantasy football draft strategy. When you're filling in those mid-rounds, you are still getting top-tier wide receiver one, running back one talent. And again, there's way more wide receiver ones you can get later, okay? Let's go over a couple other names, and they are coming particularly from the same team. Another bonus here for you, Russell Wilson as a backup quarterback with massive upside, due for a bounce back year. Listen, improved coaching. They're bringing Peyton in. They've got, Russell Wilson, who's due for a bounce back. His career's on the line. His legacy's on the line. Sean Payton there as coach. You've got Cortland Sutton, who's being slept on. Jerry Jeudy, who's being slept on. Javonte. They've got some weapons here, right? Again, is he going to thrive? Is he going to be a top guy? Maybe, I don't know. But you're looking at Russell Wilson, who is primed for a bounce back. And that's the key here, right? You are looking at a no way, there's another car, a no way but up situation here for Russell Wilson. You got to love him, okay? For a bounce back and a forgotten fantasy player. This guy was finishing top 5 amongst quarterbacks, guys, years ago. He was always a top 10 quarterback when he's on his game in Seattle. He made the move to Denver last year and is completely busted. Busted last year. Very subpar. No way but up for him. Again, Cortland Sutton, like I said, good value. We talked about Deontay. We talked about Javonte. We talked Deontay, Javonte, kind of rhymes. We talked about Mike Williams. Also, guys, not that I'm going crazy about him, but Deshaun Watson. Okay, this guy can and maybe could finish as a top 5 quarterback. Again, do I trust him? Not particularly, coming back from all of those massages. Been out of it for so long. He is a forgotten fantasy sleeper. Okay, Deshaun Watson, okay? Tons of upside, although a ton of question marks, okay? Again, once players, this is what I want to get across in this video. So many people tend to forget. They forget, right? They buy the recency bias. They forget how good that player was. And that's why they're value. And that's where you can exploit that opportunity to get these guys for immense value. One more here, and I've talked about him in a ton of videos. I'll give you another one here, is Calvin Ridley. Again, still coming off very early. People, yes, have forgotten, but also, a lot of people are on him, and he's coming off pretty expensive as early as the 3rd round, which, again, isn't bad for a guy who can finish as a top 5 receiver. But, again, when you have a guy that's got a ton of ceiling, comes a ton of risk. But I do believe in Trevor Lawrence. I do believe in the offense, and I definitely do 100% believe in Calvin Ridley. He hasn't played since, 2021, I believe it was. Played a couple games, was suspended for 2022. Had a good season in 2020, over 1,300 yards. I think he had like 9 touchdowns, something like that. Go back and look it up. Good season in 2020. Due for a bounce back, chip on his shoulder. Trevor Lawrence, good offense, and a forgotten sleeper for sure with top 5 upside, okay? So those are a couple names, guys. They're forgotten sleepers, and there's way more, right? It's up to you guys to figure out who they are, or you can just get the 16-round draft solution. Use code USA, 4th of July weekend, and hopefully you guys are getting better weather here in the Northeast. It is ugly. It is rainy, but hey, man, the flowers absorb the rain. They make the best out of it. Sometimes you just got to think positive, half glass full. Maybe rainy outside. It may look like a storm's going to hit us, but we always got to be on the bright side. That could happen in your draft. You may lose or get some players picked off that you really wanted in rounds. You always got to have a backup plan for a backup plan, and that's what 16 rounds does. So secure the solution, secure the championship. I've linked it below. Use code USA and join us in the front lines for an amazing community all year round. We'll talk soon, guys. I'm going to go get inside here. It is very humid. It is rainy. It is ugly. Going back in some air conditioning. We'll talk soon, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video in the rain. And those are some fantasy football sleepers for you that you may have forgotten that are great value. We'll talk soon, guys. Bye-bye.